Alright, I wanted to do a quick video this morning. An update on the Pitbull Tactical Universal Mag Carrier. This steel will Intrigue knife, and I think this is the 3.75 version, and it's like $42 with free shipping on eBay. And I wanted to talk about Barrell Flex. Alright, so first let's get into this mag carrier. Alright, so there's some things I like about it and some things that I don't like about it. One of the things that I don't like so far, see the clip right there, how it's two small pieces? Well, there's not a lot of contact points for your belt, and what has happened to me a couple times is if I have had something push up at an angle, the mag carrier will pop up. Now it hasn't fallen off yet, but that's kind of a big deal as your gear staying where you want to put it. So I up at an angle pressure, just kind of pops it over the lip of that belt. Now haven't noticed that at all carrying it inside the waistband, but outside the waistband that's an issue. And the other thing that I've noticed is this silicone band. It hasn't fallen off, but it seems like it can slide a little bit, and it goes on pretty easy, but it can kind of slide off of there. Alright, one other thing. I really like this carrier for this Glock 43 magazine. Keeps it pretty low profile. Now what I'm not crazy about is when you have a Glock 19 magazine. Let's see. If you can see that, the contour of this mag pouch, this adds a lot of bulk to this corner. So if you're carrying this outside the waistband, on here, it kind of flows with the contour, doesn't print a whole lot. But this is very edgy and adds a lot to a Glock 19 magazine. Now, it's not really the case with a Glock 43 magazine. It doesn't add a whole lot. But the Glock 19 magazine, it does. So just something to keep in mind. Alright, so here's the other thing. Got this steel will knife. It's a flipper. I've always kind of liked flippers. But you know, that's not the most secure lock in the world. All right, so a couple things that I've noticed. I like this thing. It's light. It has a decent sized blade. It is thin. Now, some of the things that I don't like about this so far. Oh, the name of this knife is the Intrigue. Steel will Intrigue. Alright, I had this when I was working out in the rain for a few hours, and I went to check the blade out, and I noticed the blade was dull. I could run my finger back and forth across it. I don't know if that was from being wet too long. I know you're not supposed to leave knives in the sink because it can dull the blade. Well, I resharpen it pretty easily, but I noticed that. This belt clip right here, it is very tight. With the texture on the handle, it really requires a lot of force to get this on and off pants that are thicker than like a ripstop material. And the last thing, I bent it back, but this has a very fine tip, and barely poking this in some dead wood, the tip of the blade bent. So definitely not something you want to use as like a utility knife, but for cutting boxes, tape, stuff like that, not too bad. But downside when you got the tip bending, especially when there's hardly any force applied to it. Alright, so here's something I wanted to discuss. I'll probably do a video demonstrating this at a later date. Alright, so this is an Armalite heavy barrel. Now the barrel is a heavy contour, like all the way up to the gas block. And it adds a lot of weight. It's supposed to dissipate heat fairly well. But even with this heavy barrel, when I first installed this Troy rail, I installed it and uninstalled it and reinstalled it like 3 or 4 times because it was the first rail install that I've ever done, and I was convinced that I put the rail on wrong because when I went to test it, the barrel moved. So I thought it was me. I didn't know about barrel flex, and I never really put 2 and 2 together. When you watch like a slow-mo video in a like an AK or something, the barrel will like whip up and down with the gases, like a comp where gas is at the top. It will really push that barrel and flex it. Now, where this is a big deal, and the reason why there is a big advantage to having this free float rail all the way to the end of the barrel, if you were to rest this on cover, and this has happened to me, and you're really bearing down on this rifle, it'll push that barrel up enough, and within 50-75 yards you can be as much as a foot high if you don't realize that you are bearing down the rifle and your cover is coming in contact with that barrel at any point through there if it wasn't a free float. So you do not want to rest the barrel on anything. If you have a rail, use the rail. If not, go back to your handguards. And I've been told back in the day with the M16A2s, if you were to do too tight of a loop sling where the loop was attached to the front sight, you could throw a round by putting too much tension on that loop sling. So just be aware, this is a heavy barrel. This is not a pencil barrel or a light contour. So if this was a pencil barrel or a lighter contour barrel, it would be even worse. This is a heavy barrel. I don't think you can see it through the rail, but I just take my word for it. Alright, so that's about all I got. Now, I still kind of do like these, and not for the Glock 19 mags, but I like them a lot for the Glock 43 mags. Haven't had any issues inside the waistband. Now, outside the waistband, a little iffy. Haven't had one come off, but just got to keep that in mind. Alright, that's all I got. Have a good day.